Hello there. This is episode 11 for Basil, our King of Thieves for Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Last time, Basil and the crew took out Malahi and the kobolds who took over the Nashkel mines. Basil now heads out of the mines and gets an attaboy from both Emerson and the mine guard. He's not actually done with this area yet. We actually have somebody to save. To the south of the mine pit, Basil sees a carving in the mountain shaped like a woman's face. It is carved by an artist named Prism. Now, Prism's been a bit of a bad boy because he stole some lady's emeralds and used them in his carving on the side of the mountain. Basil sympathizes with the thief, but thinks he got a little bit sloppy for being sighted. Prism is being hunted by a guy named Grey Wolf, and he needs protection, and Basil agrees to help. Grey Wolf has a tendency to be a tough opponent. He is a very tough fighter with a badass +2 sword. He hits hard and has a lot of HP, but Basil's crew is all higher level, so we shouldn't have too much of an issue with him. Since he's vulnerable to any number of magical effects, we can paralyze him and then just wail on him. After Grey Wolf is taken out, Prism, who's been chugging oils of speed to finish his work, dies from overdose and heart failure. Moral of the story, kids? Don't do coke. Basil then takes the emeralds and heads back to Nashkel. In Nashkel, Basil first chats with Joseph's wife in her house, and he returns his ring for some extra XP. He then goes over to chat with the mayor of the town, and he gets rewarded for his deeds. Next, Basil is going to do a little strategy to get ready for this fight against the tough bounty hunter who's going to go against us, Nimble. Basil moves around to the buildings to hit Nimble from behind while the group takes him out in the front. Nimble tells the crew to surrender, which just doesn't make much sense. I mean, surrender to do what? To just sit down and die? That's just idiotic. I mean, I'd rather go out swinging. I think all of us would. So the crew hits him with arrows and magic and actually takes him out remarkably quickly, landing a couple of lucky blows. Rasad chats up the crew and we shoo him off. Basil and the crew then goes in for a rest at the inn for another dream.
You were startled out of sleep with a chill, though the night is warm and calm. It is though someone has walked across your grave, and for a moment you wonder if it was you. With this thought, the ground beneath you opens, and you are swept into the dark. When light returns, you do not find its presence comforting. Before you lay the empty mines of Nashkel, cleansed by your previous passage. You move through walls and floors alike, descending deeper and deeper, until a bloated figure comes into view. Malahi, in no better shape than you left him, stands motionless before you. Held from whatever afterlife calls it, this foul apparition has been waiting for you. A dagger of bone hovers before it, ready for a willing hand to drive it deep. Had this creature breath, you are sure it would be hurling curses. It waits for the kill, a death beyond death, and knows no hope. You turn your back on the blade, and it clatters to the floor. Punishment enough shall find this creature in the land of the dead. You need not inflict any more upon him. Surprised and thankful, the visage of Malahi hobbles forward and through you, off to whatever fate it deserves. Perhaps for safekeeping, it leaves a part of itself behind. It is a spark of hope that fills a space within you, a dagger-shaped hole you did not know was empty. There is a cry of rage from the depths, and the dagger of bone launches itself through the air. Your heart, its target. You awake just as it should have struck, and the cold sweat that covers you stings your eyes. A disapproving voice lingers in your ears, though it should have disappeared with the dream. You will learn.
Once the crew is done with their rest, they head out to leave Nashkel. Despite what I said last time, as we see, there's a few small things we're going to do before heading north and then heading out to hit the bandits. But we're almost done with the extra side stuff. Basil and the crew heads west to save a tree. No, really, he's going to go save a tree. Right after he kills a cave bear. At this point, most animals in the game become irrelevant, so animal summons and charms are all just for distraction. Then again, Basil did start this run by hunting giant lizards that, were very, very powerful, so maybe they may have been irrelevant slightly beforehand. Anyway, Basil gets stopped by a nymph, and she asks us to stop 2 thugs from cutting down her tree for some hidden treasure. Considering that she's literally going to die if this tree is cut down, we're gonna stop a murder. Yay! Basil and the crew take out Caldo and Crumb, who think that he's actually a bandit. Screw you guys. Anyway, the nymph thanks Basil with a potion of heroism, which, hey, considering how easy it was to take these guys out, I guess that's fair. Okay, actually it was kind of a waste of time, but, it's nice to have Basil do extra stuff. Okay, no more distractions. It's time for the rest of the story. The crew heads back to Bergost to find Tranzig, who was mentioned in the letters to Malahi. Basil chats with the old man from the road before, who introduces himself as Elminster. He tells us that he's been watching our work, and that Gorion would actually be really impressed. Basil plays it cool, and lets Elminster do his, quote, "I'm an old mysterious wizard" kind of thing. It doesn't really bother him, and he's not going to bother Elminster with stupid-ass questions. Next, Basil's going to chat with Chloe. Chloe identifies Basil as a big old hero, and he asks us to go to the Jovial Juggler Inn for having a chat with a flaming fist officer who has a deal for us. Yeah, Basil's a big damn hero. Anyway, Basil then heads to the Juggler Inn and chats with Officer Vi. She basically acknowledges that we're doing more than her bosses are for regarding taking out the bandits and fixing the iron crisis. She offers to pay us 50 gold for each bandit scalp we sell her. Still kind of gross, but okay, cash is nice. After resting, Basil and the crew head over to confront Tranzig. They head upstairs to have a chat that ends in violence and a trap being set off. Oh no, where did that come from? Tranzig goes down very quickly. He realizes that he's a mage against a whole group of people who don't have time for his bullshit. Tranzig's letter basically confirms that the location of the bandit camp is up north of the Friendly Arm Inn, so he's going to head there right after he does some shopping. He goes over to Thunderhammer's smithy and gets the Shadow Armor, one of the nicest pieces of armor for thieves, granting a bonus to hiding in shadows. Nice. Now it's time to head north to take on the bandits. Basil heads into the forest east of the Friendly Arm Inn and takes out the greeting committee of hobgoblins. Now it's time to infiltrate the camp. Basil finds and chats with Riken, who to try to get recruited by the brigands. He thinks we're funny. You're goddamn right you think you're funny. Basil's adorable. The crew arrives at the camp and is immediately questioned by the bandits, including their boss, Tazok. Tazok is a rough SOB half-ogre who is one of the big bosses of the bad guys. He questions us as to why he shouldn't just kill the crew right now. Basil points out that they are indeed a group of badasses who want to put their skills to good use. Tazok then asks why he should bother with more goons since he has an entire bandit camp full of goons. Basil says that it's better to have too many and not need them all, rather than to need more and not have them available. Tazok's impressed and lets us hang out at the camp while he heads south to figure out what's going on in Nashkel. With that, we're going to take some time to loot the camp and to chat with the bosses, and we will end it here today. Next time, Basil's going to get his answers, and I imagine a lot of people are going to die. For now, feel free to check out my other content, such as my starter guides and my other playthrough videos. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and good luck. We're all counting on you.